I'm back. I had major technical difficulties, and if you know me, I am not that technical. So let's start all over again. Welcome, everyone, to the Quest Show. I am Lana Quest, and we're going to do a quick show today. But before we get into the show, we are going to ask you to please like, share, and subscribe to this video. You may not want to like it now that I messed up all of the video and had to start all over, but I'm here now. So let's just get into it. I'm going to work through it. You know what it is. So it is 8:00 here. I just got home at 7:45. I had to stuff my face. It is 1,000 degrees outside. And I was like, should I do the show? Should I not do the show? Oh, just do the show. So I sat down here semi-prepared and we're going to do something. So that is why everything is just like not really prepared. And you know what? That's when you come to the Quest show, that's just what you're going to get because that is just how I am. That is my life. So let's start. We are actually going to start in the 1830s. That is where we're going to go. We're going to go back in time because, you know, it's good to look back sometimes. I'm just going to now try to get back on and we are good. I'm here. Hi, Mary. Hi, Artie. Yo, I had major difficulties trying to get on, but I am here now. I do want to go back. 1830s. In the 1830s, African Americans went to the Oklahoma Territory. We are going to talk about Oklahoma tonight just for a little bit, and I'll tell you why. So in the 1830s, African Americans, Native Americans all traveled to Oklahoma. Some were enslaved, some were already emancipated, but they went through the Trail of Tears to settle in Oklahoma. Enslaved people, everyone. And the reason why people were going to Oklahoma to settle down was because it was like booming with oil. That was bringing a lot of money into Tulsa. So a lot of African Americans, Native Americans, and also white people settled into Tulsa because of the oil. So so in 1905, Tulsa was actually sold to African Americans, like African Americans that had, there was just, so after slavery, there were people that were enslaved that had money, like they made money in various kinds of ways. And there wasn't a lot of money back then, but they did make money. They were, and they saved everything because what are they spending their money on? So they were actually able to buy in 1905 Tulsa. So that's how the Black people started opening the businesses in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood District, Black Wall Street. They started building on it. They started building churches, schools, businesses, hospitals, mortuaries. They had it, libraries. They had, I believe they had an airport, a small airport, and a pilot that lived on Black Wall Street in the Greenwood District. And life was good there for everyone. And that's what we're going to talk about today because, some things are still happening relative to Tulsa that probably got overshadowed in the news this week. So I just wanted to come back and talk about that. And I wanted to give some background about how African Americans got to Tulsa, what they were doing in Tulsa. They were minding the damn business in Tulsa, but for some reason, like Tulsa ended up being separate. There were like two separate districts for Tulsa, right? It was almost like the east side and like the west side. So there was like the Greenwood district where the Black people were thriving, right? Because see, what happened too was that when they sold that land to the Black settlers, they didn't know how valuable that land was. They didn't know that it was just going to be booming in oil. Like they just didn't know how valuable it was. So when the Black settlers got there, they started making these row houses, right? They started giving businesses to other Black settlers that came in. They had their own banks. They had their own banking systems. They had it all. And then on the other side, you probably had the former slave owners who owned the enslaved, right? Because now they're thinking like, yeah, let the Blacks be on that side because they're not going to do well. And they ended up doing very well. So now you have the white people on one side looking at Black Wall Street doing well and upset and angry about it, right? Because who are they? Because you got to remember, they're Black. So how can they be doing this? They're not that smart. How are they building this place up? So that was causing some issues there. So let's fast forward. Again, they were living their lives, minding their business. They knew that, they kind of stayed on their side because they already knew that the white people were jealous of what they were doing over in Greenwood. So let's fast forward to May 31st, 1921. 19-year-old Dick Rowland, he was a shoe shine young man. He would shine shoes on the other side of town. He wound up in an elevator with, I believe her name was Paige. And Paige was back then, they had people who ran the elevators for you. Cool. Actually, I think they still have people who can do that. You go in there and they run the elevator. So there's different depictions of what happened when Dick Rowland ended up in this elevator with Paige. The one that keeps coming up is that I guess the elevator may have jolted, may have skipped a floor, something caused it to shake. And again, there were a couple of depictions about this. And apparently she may have made a noise when it happened because maybe it startled her. And he either tried to break her fall or break his fall, but he touched Paige, the white woman that worked in the elevator as the elevator, I don't know what you call him, right? He touched her. That's that. Paige said nothing happened, right? She did not want to press charges. But then word started getting around, you know what I mean? The Black guy from the N-word from Greenwood touched her. Then it was like assaulted her. Then it was like raped her, right? So the police held him. And now that afternoon, the newspaper, because that's how fast this stuff happens, has a headline that, what was it, like a Negro touched or assaulted whatever white woman in the elevator or something like that. It said, so it just really spun out of control, as those things do, because we know those things happen because we know what happened to Emmett Till, right? We know what happened to George Steiny. Those things happen. Even if the white woman goes, no, nothing happened, it doesn't matter. Something happened, and then it's just going to be spun out of control because, one, they didn't like Black people. Two, they were already jealous of them over there. And any excuse to lynch a Black person is good enough for anybody. Like it didn't matter. He could have, it didn't matter. So they took him off to jail and held him there. When the people of Greenwood found out that they were holding Dick Rowland, they armed themselves and went over across the tracks to, I guess, the courthouse and the jail. Maybe it was together. They went there to basically make sure that nothing happened to him. Because again, it's the vigilante justice, right? There is no such thing as a trial by the jury of your peers. That didn't happen in those days. There was a trial. It definitely wasn't your peers, and it definitely wasn't a fair trial, right? And oftentimes, you didn't even make it to trial because the sheriffs and deputies will look the other way and let the townsmen come in and drag the Black people out of jail and hang them by the trees. So oftentimes there wasn't a trial, and the people of Greenwood knew that. So the menfolk came over armed to make sure that nothing happened to that young man. Hey, Brian. Hi, Mary. Hi, Artie. So the townfolk wanted to make sure that nothing happened to that young man. So they went across the tracks to keep the peace. But of course, there was no peace, right? Something happened, a gun went off, all hell broke loose. I think one of the white men may have gotten injured, or may have gotten shot. Again, there's a couple of different stories out there, but you get the gist, right? Something happened. And I'm almost positive that a gun went off and someone was injured. But because of that, the Black men of Greenwood knew this is it, right? Because once that happens, there's no turning back from this now. Now this has come from us here protecting Dick Rowland to now we're going to be at war. So they ran back across the tracks to try to get their families out of town. There was no time. They were just leaving with the clothes on their backs. It's not like they had a cell phone. They were like, hey, pack up, babe, we got to go. That wasn't a thing. They literally ran home, grabbed their families. Who could go? Some tried to stay and fight, but these people, obviously, they were barely making it out of there. Before the white men with the arsenal came to just burn it down, because they already wanted to burn it down. So again, any excuse to get over there to burn it down. And these people, like I said, they barely made it out of there with their families, and many did not make it out of there. They did not care. They were burning, they were shooting. It didn't matter. Women, children, it didn't matter. Whoever they ran up on, that is who they were going to kill, right? And not only was it the, white men from the other town doing it, they had a plane, and this is going to come back when I tell you what's going on now, that appeared to be military. And this is from like the surviving members of the surviving people of Tulsa, that it seemed like it was military planes were used to bomb Tulsa as well. So it wasn't just these men with torches, because they burnt like 35 square blocks at once. So they were dropping bombs from planes. What planes? Where'd the planes come from? Right? So burnt it down, burnt it to the ground. So I brought up Tulsa, and I wanted to give the background on Tulsa because this week the Tulsa County District Court Judge Caroline Wall dismissed the lawsuit filed against the remaining or the Tulsa survivors. Just dismissed it because the survivors want some type of reparations, right? Because, all of the wealth. Imagine if Tulsa was still going strong. These people were rich. They were doing well. These families fled with nothing, barely shoes on. So the surviving members, Leslie Benningfield Randall, she's 108, Viola Fletcher, 109, and Hughes Van Ellis, 102. Two of them are siblings. I'm not sure. I think it's Viola and Hughes, maybe. I'm not sure. You can drop it in the chat if you remember, but they're two siblings and another woman. Those are the remaining survivors of that massacre, because it was a massacre, and they don't even really have a number of how many people were murdered during the Tulsa Massacre. So now families are gone, buildings, money, banks, their banks are gone. Interesting tidbit too, the survivors back then tried to file insurance claims for their homes and their houses, and they were all denied. Talk about, they were like, what house? Greenwood? What is that? Where's Greenwood? Greenwood doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, they denied them, right? So now, just by right, Tulsa owes these survivors. You didn't even pay their insurance claims. So how in the world can you now dismiss their cases for some type of reparations? You could have at a minimum said, you know what was a house worth back then? Here. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have taken it, but at least you could have said minimum. Here's that for your trouble. But no, we're saying, no, that didn't happen because of their race. Well, why the fuck did it happen then? Like, because of what? And that's the insidious part of what is happening today. And I'm going to get back to that, because that is the crazy thing that is happening today in most of the courts. It is happening today. It's like they're trying to, and I heard the term, like legally sanctioned bigotry and racism, making it just to be okay. It's something that it's like normalizing it and legalizing it. So not only are we going to normalize it, we're going to legalize it. It's okay to do it. So they truly are trying to make America great again. That's the again that they're trying to go to. That Tulsa place where you can burn down a Black person's home and pay no insurance on it. That's exactly what Make America Great Again is. That's what they're doing. And I'm going to flip back and forth because it's so relevant, because they literally are legalizing and sanctioning bigotry and racism. You have the Supreme Court that was just like, hey, if you don't want to serve gay people, you don't have to. If you don't want to serve trans people, it's against your religion, you don't have to. So where's the line? Where does that stop? Interracial couple, Black couple, oh, you're too dark? Like, what the fuck is this? But that's them legalizing it, right? Because now it's legal. Everything else is gray. The Supreme Court says it is legal to do that. The states, y'all fight it out and figure that stuff out the way you want to figure it out. But for now, you come in there with your pride flag if you want, you may not get served. And that's the insidious part of it. It is so disgusting. But let's get back to Judge Wall said that there was no racism, so they didn't feel the need to do it, which is quite interesting, Tulsa, because Tulsa has a whole museum, right? Tulsa is making money from the massacre. Tulsa makes money. Can't give that money to the remaining survivors, can we? But Tulsa's making money. So it's not about, so what are you talking about? How are you rephrasing this then? at historical sites and museums. So if it's not about racism, there's a whole museum. So what are you telling us? How can it be both of these things? They just didn't like them. That's just like how Ron DeSantis has them rewriting Rosa Parks. Like, Rosa was just sitting in the seat and the bus driver just asked her politely to get up. Just because it had nothing to do with nothing. He just said, get up and go to the back of the bus. Like, kids are going to buy that? They're going to be like, why? Why did she have to go to the back of the bus and give her seat up to somebody else? Like, that doesn't, it's because of her color. It's so crazy. Everything is like in the reverse now. It is so crazy. That is why Trump is running around talking about something is racist against him. Affirmative action is racist. There's a two-tier justice system against them. Like, it's all being twisted, right? Black people going to school under affirmative action is racist against white people. What does that even mean? Affirmative action doesn't even mean black. Like, so what? And they can't even explain it, but they don't need to explain it. It appears, right? Because if you have a Supreme Court that we know is bought and sold, because there's proof, because Jesus, Clarence Thomas is just, he's like, what you need? He just got his hand out. You know what I'm saying? That the Supreme Court is his cash cow. So Clarence Thomas is not caring about what y'all say. He's not going to stop. They are not going to explain it. They are not going to step down. They have been planning this for 10 years, and Democrats have been asleep at the wheel. As a matter of fact, we all have been asleep at the wheel, because who knew it would be this bad? We knew it was going to be bad. We absolutely knew it was going to be bad. We knew that there was a chance of Roe v. Wade. But this is, I don't even know how it could be worse than what I thought, because I thought bad, but this is worse than what I would have ever believed that I would be living through in America right now. Like, it's unbelievable. DeSantis and all are out banning books telling that same history. Oh yeah, they don't want anyone to know about that. And so now the survivors are going to appeal. Of course they are. But, they just want them to die. Like, that's literally what's happening. This is going to die. But it's not going away. They're not going to stop fighting. That's not how we do it. Because we didn't get to where we are today if we stopped fighting. If people who were enslaved just stopped fighting it, stopped running, stopped fighting back, stopped, hiding their own weapons, stop. That's why they didn't want the people that they enslaved, they did not want them educated. There was one law because Black people, they were like getting together, making plans to escape. They were like in the cornrows, they were making like maps, like they were doing all kinds of things. So they're like, that's it. No education. You can't gather together no more than a certain, but like you couldn't have too many Blacks together because it could be plotting and planning, right? That's why they just straight outlawed that stuff. And it is the same thing that they're doing now. It's not new stuff, right? Keep uneducated, keep you sick. You don't question anything. They don't want our kids to question anything. They want these Gen Z, they want them growing up not thinking that there is a racism. They just want them not knowing any of that. They don't, because you can't question your circumstances if you don't know. What are you questioning if you don't get it? If you don't know that you're being oppressed, you're just kind of like, nothing I can do. And that's what is happening across the South right now. A lot of those people don't understand government. They don't understand how it works. They've just been living in a certain kind of way, and they just accept it. They just accept it. I did a podcast on yesterday, the Esteban Hour. Hey, Esteban. And we talked about Africa and, the issues that they go through over in that continent, and how like over half of the continent of Africa, they don't have electricity. And I kept harkening back to America. And I'm like, of course, America is not Africa. North America is not Africa. America is not Sudan. Like, I get that. Like, the country of America is not like the countries in Africa. However, there are places in America that lose electricity. Look at Texas, the whole power grid, right? Places in Africa, those people don't have like running water. They're bathing in the same place that the cows and stuff, and they're getting all kinds of bacteria and infections and things of that nature, right? Here in America, Lowndes County, Alabama, Kay Ivey. Kay Ivey loves the kids. You know Kay Ivey, right? Lowndes County, there's sewage backing up into their homes. Sewage. Every time they flush the toilet, shit comes out the sink, right? People go down to the little city hall, tell them what's going on, and they're like, use our house. What's wrong with you? But this is America. This is happening in America. And Republican states, though, but Chicago, Baltimore. What y'all think? Come on. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about what else is going on. Shoo. Oh, latest state to pass a 6-week abortion ban, Iowa. I don't know how many states that is right now, but it is a lot of states with these abortion bans. Iowa is the latest. It is 6 weeks. I don't even know. It's just the same thing. Women, we're just gonna have to fight in 2024 because this is no joke. I don't even know what 6 weeks means. Like, why are they even putting a 6 weeks on it? Like, why? To say like we didn't ban it fully? 6 weeks is banning it fully. 6 weeks makes no sense to anyone. No woman knows that they're pregnant at 6 weeks unless she's actually planning the pregnancy and really like taking pregnancy tests constantly because she's just so excited to get pregnant. Other than that, it's 4 weeks when you miss your period, and then it can be late. So you wait 2 more weeks to see if it just comes on, because you got that kind of window. You don't have that window anymore. Jesus, you're gonna have to start taking pregnancy tests even before you miss period. It's like the day of your period. Like, you better take that pregnancy test because Jesus Christ, you could be pregnant. And 6 weeks does not give you a lot of time. So right away, that first day of your missed period, you're gonna have to go on to CVS and Walgreens and get yourself a pregnancy test. Who knows? They may try to ban those too, because they just ban everything. It's just insanity. And then they're like, well, if you're raped, those are exceptions, rape and incest. That's not an exception at 6 weeks. How is that an exception? How? If the woman decides to file after the shock, right? Okay, so first, there's the rape. You're in shock. You don't know what to do. You're miserable. You're depressed. You're embarrassed. You're blaming yourself. Then you're blaming. There's like stages to a rape, right? It's almost like mourning. There are stages to it. You don't fucking get raped and then you wake up and you're like, yay, okay, what's for dinner? Pancakes, anybody? It's not how that works. What the fuck is wrong with Republicans? You got to figure it out. What just happened here? That's why if you're raped, the statute of limitations isn't 6 weeks. It's just like, come on. You have years to file that. And there's a reason for that. So they're trying to tell you that all within the 6 weeks, because then you may not even know you're pregnant, right? If you're right. So you're the 4 weeks. So then you got like a 2-week window to go, because, if you rape, you can't just go to the doctor and be like, I was raped. You got to file the police report. Probably got to go through the court system, the slow courts. So by the time you're past the 6 weeks, like it's baffling. Children, young girls that are raped, don't even know they're pregnant. They have no idea. We hear the stories all the time. Little kids, they haven't said anything to anyone, and they're delivering babies at school because they've hidden their stomachs because they don't even know what in the world is happening. It's really an unfortunate thing. Thank you, Michelle. It's just really disgusting. What else happened? Because I am on a roll. I'm just like, Twitter's got me all mad. I'm just so angry. It's just been an angry week. I'm so upset because it's just like, it's one crazy Republican thing, and I get so irate when someone says some stupidness about what does Biden do for Black people? And it's just like, I know I'm all over the place, but what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You're not going to get a personalized, dear Black person, this is for you. That's not how this works. It's like, if weed, right? Black people are arrested disproportionately for minor weed offenses. We just are. White people tend to get a pat, right? They just do. This is just how it is. No shade, white people. That's just your privilege, right? It is. That's just how it is, right? I'm not telling a lie. It's how it is. White people get the pat. More Black people go to jail for the same thing. Biden released inmates being held in federal prison on minor weed charges. He let them go, and then urged governors of the states, if you have someone in jail, minor weed, I'm urging you to let him go. Like, he can't make them because he's federal. It's the federal, it's not the state, it's the federal, right? But who does that help the most? It helps the person that is disproportionately impacted. And that's with so many things. It's like healthcare. Who is disproportionately impacted the most? Black and brown people, Native Americans. So the things that he is passing, yes, it helps everyone. And it should, because he is the president for everyone. Right? So, but if it's helping the whites, right? Because that's allowed, it's going to help us even more. Like, that's how it helps us. Diverse judges. How is diverse judges not helping the Black community, Black people? Explain that to me. It helps us when you have diverse judges that understand. Poor Ketanji in the Supreme Court, right? If the court was more even, she probably could convince more people because she lived it. She understands it. She understands affirmative action. She understands what allowing a business to not serve people because of them being gay. She knows what slope that's going to. She realizes it. So more diverse judges see things in a diverse world, right? Even like law firms. A lot of companies want law firms that have more diversity in it because diverse voices are better. They just are. And diverse means diverse. Women, men, Black people, brown people, like that is diverse. That is what Republicans want to stop, right? Case in point, Ron DeSantis, he doesn't want diversity and inclusion. There's a reason for that. So if you think that Biden is not doing anything for Black women, right? If he is fighting for your college loans to be forgiven, who's acting them? Who is helping the most? Who has the most debt with colleges? Who needs to catch up in their college educations because we've been locked out and blocked out for so many years? We didn't get a 400-year head start. So anyone who is trying to even a playing field is doing this, particularly for Black, brown, and Native Americans. So it is a specific policy for you. It's not going to say this is for Black people. It's not going to say that. But we have to understand it. And that is where critical thinking comes in, and people don't have it. Because if you're sitting around waiting for someone to say, this is for you, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. those people who are sitting around saying, I'm not voting for Biden because I want reparations. Like, you know what? Loan forgiveness could be a reparation because I would take that. No one's writing you a check. You shouldn't even want a check for reparations. Give me some property. Give me some land. Like this is in people. Oh my God. I can go on for days. Oh my God, Artie, that is a good point. How do we marginalize Republicans and advance democracy? That's a good question. How do we do that? How do we do? Let's go. We need to go on and make them the minority. We need to just go on and vote these people out. It's just an awful shit show with them in office. They don't even, remember there was a time before the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade, when Republicans were running from abortion bans, right? They really didn't talk about it. They wanted bans. They wanted the national bans, but they really didn't talk about it much. They will run. You would ask them, they would run. Now that they have the Supreme Court in the palm of their hand, they're not running anymore. Do you notice that? They are embracing every bit of their cruelty. That's how much they're enjoying this. They love it. Like they're eating this up. They go to bed smoking cigars, checking their stocks on the phone, putting their feet up, and enjoying the shit show because it can't touch them. They fucking love it. They love it. Like literally, every one of them. They're running. They used to not talk about it if they were campaigning, running for office. Now, are you kidding me? Ron DeSantis? Oh no. Ron DeSantis is like, not only does he want to ban this nationally, he wants to take apart the DOJ and change it around. And not only does Ron DeSantis want to do that, Ron DeSantis wants to take the Civil Rights Division and investigate racism against the white people. He said it. He said that. Yes. Yes. They don't care. They don't fucking care what you think. They don't care. They are saying the things before we would say, oh, they're saying the quiet things out loud now. Oh, no, it's more than that. These things are no longer quiet. There are no quiet things. Quiet things are off the table. They are telling you that the Civil Rights Division, we're going to investigate Black people for racism against white people. We're telling you, this is not a quiet part anymore becoming loud. This is just loud becoming louder. I'm telling you that there is going to be a national abortion ban. I'm telling you that. And if I don't get it in 2024, we're going to keep fighting until we get it. It is never going to be off the table with them, because they've always wanted the Supreme Court to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and they waited for decades to do it, and they have done it. So them saying that they're going to investigate Black people for committing racism against white people, they mean it. A national abortion ban, they mean it. Taking apart the Department of Justice and investigating Democrats, they mean it. Getting rid of diversity first in the schools and then in the jobs, right? Because apparently Black people are working. I don't know how we're having it two ways, because one, we're lazy and we need to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, right? But we're also taking all of the jobs and all the college spots. So I don't know how we're doing both of them, because we're freaking magical, I guess. We're like, we got magic wands. We're just letting that shit go. I don't know. But apparently we're doing both of them. Whatever they're doing, they're sick of us. They are sick of us achieving. That 400-year head start, I guess it's starting to look like a 200-year head start now, right? Like maybe we're halfway there or something, and they're going to fight us every step of the way. Yeah, Tim Scott out here talking about, oh yeah, national abortion ban. You know, the women, you have to be pregnant for 52 weeks. Like, who's pregnant for 52 weeks? They don't even know what they're talking about, but they're just saying the words, because he actually said 52-week pregnancy. He actually said that. They don't care. They told you they don't care. They don't care if they sacrifice every woman. They already told you women were next. They told us that. They told us that, white women in the suburbs. You were always going to be next. Right? And now you are next, because look what they are doing. Women in the suburbs, they're taking some of your alimony that you were so comfortable getting. Ron DeSantis said, nope, no, but we're going to put rules to this alimony stuff. You know why? Because his rich friends told him to. Come on, this is what they do. You got to think ahead, learn how to play chess. This shit was always coming. You think Ron DeSantis just woke up and said, I'm going to change the alimony or whatever they're doing? No, rich men with their mistresses and their wives divorce them. These men are fighting back. Men are fighting back. They want it the way it used to be. That's why they want you to have the babies, because you need to be in that kitchen having babies. You too are impacted by not having your loans forgiven. Yes, it's disproportionate, but you too. White people go to college, you need your loans forgiven too. They don't want you to have that either. They don't care, suburban woman. They don't care. Taking your alimony, now you gotta pay for your kids. Pretty soon, they're going to have some type of clause where your ex-husband don't have to help you do that either. Like, what's wrong with you? Or vice versa. Like, what's going on? They were coming for you too. Now look what they're doing to women. Okay, so now they're saying that, you're not capable of making decisions for your own body, right? Not capable of that. They're also telling you, we will tell you when you can have that medical procedure. We will tell you, if we decide that the bleeding is too much and maybe you're almost dead or bled out, we'll let you know when we'll do that medical procedure. We're going to tell you that. The people who think that pregnancy term is 52 weeks, we're going to tell you when you can have that medical procedure. We're going to tell you that. So ladies, continue to deliver stillborn babies in toilets. Continue to be walking tombs for babies, walking around with babies with no skulls. Somebody told me today, well, there's only 1% of women having those situations. So we sacrifice them, even if that figure was right, which is not. We don't care. So 1% of women are dying from complications because they can't get abortions. And we're like, but we're saving 100,000 baby lives. One, it's not a baby, it's a fetus and it's an embryo. Two, I heard, here's another lie, ladies. They're saying that, oh, well, there are some states you can have an abortion at any point in a pregnancy. In New Jersey, you can have it at any point. Not true. It's just written in a way so that if you are in your 9th month or your 8th month, and there's an abnormality that forms that will endanger or kill the mother, or if the baby umbilical cord, God forbid, is wrapped around his neck, baby is dead, that they can perform this medical procedure to take care of that. That is why. That is another protection for women. What do you think? Someone's literally, is it even an abortion? If someone has a healthy, no one is saying, no one's giving you an option. You wake up one morning and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired of being so fat and my feet is swollen. Oh, I don't want this pregnancy anymore. I'm gonna take care of it. I know I'm almost 40 weeks, but hey, even make any sense. What is wrong with y'all? Speaking of women, because I told you they are coming for women. Tommy Tuberville. Do y'all know Tommy Tuberville? Y'all know who that is? From Alabama, Representative Tuberville. He used to be a coach. He knows nothing about the law. He used to be an Alabama coach. That's who Tommy Tuberville is. Tommy Tuberville, holding up military promotions. Tommy Tuberville. Why is Tommy Tuberville holding up military promotions? Why? Y'all know? Because he's pissed at the military. Tommy is pissed. And let's back up. How crazy are congressional rules that allow one representative to hold up all of the military promotions? How crazy is that? That's insane. So he's mad because the military says the women in the military can travel out of state if they need to have an abortion. He's mad about that. Let me tell you something. When you're in the military, and I don't even have to tell you this because you know, you don't choose where you're stationed, right? The military tells you. The military
Action ratio. We did the math.
Oh,
So you
no.
don't have to.
Oh, I don't even know what happened. The military tells you where you're going. So if you're going to Texas, that's where the military is going to send you. I don't know what happened, guys. Hold on. I'm coming. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Yeah. So if the military sends you to Texas, you're in Texas. So now you're in a state where if you're having complications in your pregnancy, you can't even get the medical care that you need because you're in Texas. So he's pissed because the military is like, okay, if you're stationed in a place where you can't get the medical care that you need, you get to travel. And he's pissed about that. That's how you feel. That is your religion. Imagine if that's your personal belief. You're telling these women, no, you have to stay there. They didn't even get to choose where they wanted to be. Because if that's the case, they'd probably be like, station me in Massachusetts, station me in Connecticut, station me in New York, station me where I can get proper medical care. And it's not just that, it's not just the military woman. The military men are concerned about this too, because their wives. So if their wife goes to the military base with them and is in Texas or in Florida or where the fuck crazy abortion bans are, their wives, if they're having complications like a fetal anomaly where the baby is born without half the skull, or once it's born is not going to live because the lungs have not developed, or any of those issues that can happen, a complication, they cannot have a medical procedure, the wives of the military people, because they cannot leave. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Tommy Tuberville. So now our national security, if y'all didn't know, is kind of open because we don't have people in certain posts anymore. We have people who are set to retire who are not retiring because their replacements cannot come in yet. They cannot get promoted. How does this look? No, who's coming into the military? And this is, again, ladies, because I didn't forget, I was talking about the ladies, women. They're going to stop choosing to be in the military. And it's unfortunate because why can't they be? But why would they be? Why would they be? And he's like, oh, everyone's making it political. Huh? He's making it political. So that's just another mess in the life of how Republicans are. It's really bad. One more thing while we were talking about DeSantis real quick. So another insurance company has left the market in Florida, Farmers Insurance, and it's a pretty big one. This is the fourth one to leave Florida in a year. Yes, you guessed it. The insurance companies are leaving Florida because the risk is too high. Right now, the waters in Florida are 90 degrees. You know what happens when water is that hot, that warm? Hurricanes, storms. It's coming. Florida's going to get, the writing is on the wall. That is why Farmers Insurance is like, we out. We are out because they're about to get another hurricane. It's there. Everyone's predicting it. What does Ron DeSantis do? Does Ron DeSantis try to work with the insurance companies to keep them to stay? Nope. Does Ron DeSantis try to tackle climate change? Nope. Does Ron DeSantis try to lower insurance premiums for Floridians because they're shooting sky high? Nope. Guess what Ron DeSantis did? Come on, y'all guess. He said Farmers Insurance left because they just too woke. They woke, y'all. Farmers Insurance is woke. That's why farmers left. That's what Ron DeSantis. So no, we're not going to mitigate anything. We're not going to try to lower your insurance. We're not going to talk to farmers and try to keep them to stay, try to work out a deal. We're not going to admit that there's climate change and try to shore up Florida because we know another storm is coming. We know that the waters are at 90 degrees. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to ignore that. And we're going to blame it on the woke. Farmers Insurance is woke right now. That's why they left Florida, if you didn't know. Yeah. Is Brian still in the chat? Brian's in Florida. What the hell? Farmers, who would have known? You're woke. It's too woke for Florida. This is where woke goes to die, right? So you're not there. So now the people of Florida are left with what? State insurance? What the hell is the state insurance? And I'm pretty sure Ron DeSantis is getting some type of kickback and money from a state insurance. Maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wants all of the insurance companies to go. Then all you guys are stuck with Florida state insurance. Win-win for Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis was in the governor's mansion. He don't give a flying about y'all. He's in the governor's mansion. He don't care. He does not care. None of these guys do. Republicans are not governing. There is no policy. It's just cruelty. Like they just wake up to try to figure out what other crazy thing they can do and how to further support their orange god. Like that's all that they're doing. When's the last time they talked about your kitchen table issues? When's the last time they talked about the cost of eggs? I didn't hear them talk about the cost of eggs when they got sworn in. It was over. By the way, they should be down because I hear inflation's down. What, like 2% or something like that? It is down a little bit. Like, you're not, people don't be like, oh my God, everything's still expensive. Yeah, things are still a little expensive. And they're not going to go down significantly. You're not going to get a $2 box of cereal. It's just not going to happen. But maybe they're not going to be $7. Maybe they're back down to the normal 4 or 5 range because that's what they've been forever, even pre-pandemic. But the prices have kind of eased a little bit because you're not complaining. I don't know. People always just expect so much. What you mean the price of gas is down? It is down because you're not complaining about it. It is down. It's not at $6. It's down. It's not $2. It's never going to be there. Just like bread ain't going to be 25 cents anymore, right? At some point, the older folks knew that bread wasn't going to be 25 cents anymore, right? At some point, when I was a kid, a bag of Doritos was 75 cents. Today, a bag of Doritos is almost $2 or $1.99. I've come to realize that a bag of Doritos will never be 75 cents anymore, even if they're on sale. I'm talking about not the huge bag, because forget about that. That's like $6. I'm just talking about the individual size, is like $2. It's never going to be 75 cents anymore. Onion rings used to be 15 cents. That's gone. So at some point, we have to realize that the cost of eggs, milk, cereal, those things, they raised a little. And that's why people need raises. That's why there's supposed to be cost of living adjustments to adjust to the rising cost of certain things. We don't want them to rise and jump crazily, but of course, over the years, certain things are going to go up little by little. So that's that. The last thing I wanted to say was Twitter versus Threads. What y'all think? I don't like Threads. Michelle, I know that you don't do neither, but you probably did hear that Zuckerberg came out with his own another social media platform called Threads that's kind of linked and attached to Instagram. It looks kind of like Twitter, but it's not all the way like Twitter. People like it. Everyone's like, oh my God, I'm going to Thread. Like the journalists like, forget you, Elon. And Elon's like writing a letter to Zuckerberg. I hate you, a cease and desist. No, he didn't say I hate you, but it sounded like he said it. It seemed like he was saying I hate you. And he did a whole cease and desist type of thing. You know what I think? I think rich people do what rich people do. And I would not be surprised if Zuckerberg and Elon got together and was like, listen, I'm going to start up Threads. This is when it's going to be opening. Let's, make a ruckus around this, you know what I mean? So I can get me some followers. Let's act like we're like battling it out against each other just so we can get some relevance. Because that's what it seemed like. Because remember, before Threads came out, what Zuckerberg and Elon was gonna like, let's do a cage match. Like they were like acting like they were gonna have a whole fight. And we knew that these two people were not going to have a fight. But my point was, it's like they were trying to make noise, right? So, and then all of a sudden, Threads dropped. And it was like, oh, this Threads, and Elon's acting mad, and everyone's like, blah. I don't know. It just seemed like rich people stuff, like they created this big thing so that, they're probably friends at the end of the day because rich people are all friends and hang in the same doggone circles. And like now, Zuckerberg's going to get his people over there. And then Zuckerberg's going to be the same as Elon because Facebook was a mess. The whole privacy thing with Facebook was a whole mess. Do we really think that Zuckerberg is going to be over here at Threads being a better viable option? No, it is a better viable option right now until he gets you there. And then trust me, it will be the same as what Elon is doing. These people are who they are. Things aren't going to change too much. I am just going to read some of your comments. Guys, I'm losing my voice because I was hyped today. I was upset with everybody. Let's see. What documentary? What are we talking about? Oh, on the Tulsa. Yeah. I saw a couple too. I saw some on YouTube, the Tulsa documentary. I would urge everyone to watch those documentaries because it's pretty incredible. So it's so crazy how the judge is like race didn't have anything to do with it. And you're watching the documentary and you're watching actual footage. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. That's why DeSantis and all are out banning books telling that same history. Absolutely. Yeah, Biden versus the alternative. Seriously, I don't care if it wasn't Trump. I don't care if Republicans had a 20-year-old genius or a 26-year-old, 30-year-old genius running against old ass Biden. Who cares? They are all the same. They're all the same. They will all ban abortion. Not one of them is saying something different. Not one of them. They're just saying it in different sneaky ways. Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, every one of them. They're all trash. I listened to Chris Christie bash Trump and then turn and be like, and Biden's economy is awful. Look what he's doing to the country. Like, how can you even say that? We're doing what? Well, after the pandemic, we are doing so well. He got jobs back. We are overperforming. We are doing so much better than Europe after the pandemic. Our inflation is down lower than theirs is. So what are we talking? Jobs, jobs, jobs. What Chris Christie said, look at this economy. He's just awful. He's just making a mess because we said he's making a mess. We don't know what the mess is because we're all enjoying ourselves and our stocks are doing good. But, if there's a mess, trust me, believe me, there's a mess. Oh my God, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I have talked. Thank you for coming. I am so sorry about earlier today. My technical difficulties, being late, all of that. I would promise to do better, but I am not going to do better. It is just who I am. Accept me for who I am. Anyway, everyone, have a good weekend. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Artie. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for coming. I will see you guys next Thursday. I do know that there's some Trump news I think is going on, but I didn't pay attention, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.